It is the worst of the RIOT podcast. Welcome in another day of Hudson.
Yay.
And then you can
say
get one
yay
more.
for yourself.
Oh, yay. Yay, it's me.
So Hudson's filling in again, and he'll be a part of tomorrow's podcast as well. But Obi should return on Friday for that podcast.
Yes, and the interview with Jay Crum.
Yeah, he'll be joining us on Friday, too.
Then as well. So today's show is focusing at the matter at hand. We have a coffee cup update because there's been new developments in the world of our tiny coffee cups.
Of our tiny coffee cups here at RadioU.
How different people are coping with the situation. We also talk about, there's a bit of food talk with Frank's Red Hot Goldfish. I guess I just spoiled it because it would have been better to just say.
You could have just said a goldfish collab. You must stay tuned.
A new goldfish flavor that you're not going to believe.
It's weird with our podcast. Like in radio, we're supposed to forward sell is what it's called. Like we're supposed to keep you guys entertained so that you're staying with us.
Yep, string you along in a way.
But that's more on the radio. When it's on a podcast, I assume most of you guys put this podcast on and hear the whole thing.
Once you already downloaded it,
then you're good.
Yeah, you're going to keep going. I should really just tell you the break all the way at the end.
Sure.
So that you're then I have to stay all the way to the end.
This might be a good podcast question. Do any of you guys not finish one, or does it make you excited to hear when we try to entice you to listen to the whole thing in the beginning? You're I must hear about the Frank's collab going on.
Or do you just feel maybe you're just getting a bonus break from us here and we're just using what's in the podcast as a framework
That's it.
to give you a little more entertainment that you wouldn't get on the radio.
A little bonus introduction to all this stuff.
Yeah, just a little extra something for your trouble. Well, what else? The Monsterverse is continuing. There's hockey talk. There's my favorite part of the podcast is the talk of the pizza bowls.
Oh, yes. I think you guys will enjoy it too.
That's my highlight. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Well, enjoy the podcast today. As we always suggest, please do text us to say hi, 877 to RadioU. Put that you're a podcast listener and include your name if you've never text before. If you've never texted us before, that you're a podcast listener, so we can say hi to you.
Yeah, we'll be happy to hear from you.
We are. Have a great day.
Bye.
The RIOT isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the RIOT. RadioU.
So if you haven't checked out our RadioU Roku channel, you should.
Yes.
And I kind of titled this in our little document dispute between Google Mom or Google Dad and Roku Mom or Roku Dad. But I don't even know if it feels like that. Roku, a lot of times, it's the biggest when it comes to
huge.
A streaming device.
Yep. They have a lot of leverage.
They have 51 million users.
Yeah, that feels like a lot.
So YouTube TV has 3 million users. Do you see the difference in that?
Yeah.
For YouTube TV, I only usually use it around college football season. But I do have Roku.
Right.
But when you want to have YouTube TV, you use the app on your Roku box.
Of course.
But Roku likes to be they are pretty strong when it comes to if one of the other companies is forcing their hand on something, then the threats start coming out that we're turning the car around.
They can,
and we're not going.
kind of hold people over a barrel a little bit.
Yeah.
And they have so many subscribers that your little YouTube TV is nothing to them if they lose it.
It's different,
They feel that they have the
upper hand.
Right. That they can lose the handful of people in comparative terms that use any individual thing, then it's more likely that people will stick with Roku and just dump whatever it is that's not on Roku.
Well, the problem is this fight is against Google, as the big company, but YouTube TV is just under Google.
Right.
So the issue is Google's asked Roku to put in new memory cards in Roku devices that would raise the price that they would have to charge for them.
Yeah.
And they said no.
That would be ridiculous. Why would Google get to make that choice?
They also asked Roku to block YouTube TV user search history from other streaming services. That is something that they're also fighting, even though Google says nuh-uh and Roku's saying so they are saying that, well, who would lose out on this if Google and Roku cannot come up to an agreement with it?
Yeah.
And then that would just be YouTube TV users because they would just remove and not offer the app anymore.
Yeah. So YouTube TV users are the ones that are really hanging in the balance. And for you, it probably does, because I'm not a YouTube TV user. But
I'd be all right.
For those who are YouTube TV users, they're the ones that maybe feel like mom and dad are fighting.
I know. And it's kind of like when, like if you also have, like when they'll say like, hey, you need to contact such and such because we might not be offering this tennis channel anymore.
Yeah,
you know, like when you see those, when they start fighting and it starts becoming more public, it always revolves around money.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, you're the one.
Yeah, who doesn't get anything.
Middle, and has to do the phone calls. Like call your cable company and tell them don't get rid of this channel. And it's like, why do I have to do this?
It's like,
it's not my job.
Well, they want you to tell them that, I'd leave if you guys broke up.
Yeah, you'd be so upset.
But basically, Google is just asking for more money and taking away from Roku's part of it. And they said they cannot accept Google's unfair terms. And that's where they're currently at. So they're fighting.
All right, let's look at it this way then. Let's, if it is mom and dad fighting, you're a YouTube TV user. Let's just say they split up. All of a sudden, you get 2 Christmases. All of a sudden, you have your Roku for everything else because it's the best.
Yeah.
But then you just go buy a cheap Chromecast or something like that. And then all of a sudden, you've got 2 options, and you got the best of both worlds. You're making the most of it.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Yesterday, Hudson came in the studio and we have new coffee cups and lids, like the disposable ones.
Yeah.
And they're these cute baby little ones.
Yeah. And they have a little design on them and everything.
What do you think the size is? Like, is it a cup or?
I feel that it...
is it less than a cup? Is it more than a cup? And we're just so like...
thinking in terms of ounces, it could not be more than 10, but I was thinking probably 8.
So it is a full cup, though.
Yeah, that is technically a serving size of coffee if you were to do 8 ounces.
Well, the concern was yesterday that though these are cute and petite, that maybe they're not enough.
They're not really efficient for what we're doing.
Well, maybe they are, but we are not.
Right, so we're not efficient.
If you drink too much coffee and do you drink it all? Yes, but you just want more in your cup.
Yeah.
And so yesterday we were wondering and staff-wise, is it going to be a big enough cup or do we need to go back to the other ones?
Is that going to be a problem?
And Chris was listening and he texted a picture yesterday, but I don't think you saw it. He filled up 2 cups to take with him.
Well, he had a road trip, didn't he?
He did, but
yeah,
still.
So that's a little different. If you're on the road, if you're just around here, it's fine. But yes, on the road, I understand. I would do the same thing, and I'm with him on that one.
I feel like even if he wasn't on the road, he would bring 2 cups up to his desk.
That feels like a very Chris thing to do. Yeah.
At that point, we might as well just bring, we each get our own little glass, what is it, a carafe or the coffee pot itself?
Right.
You just carry that around.
You know what we're going to need is the drink carriers like they give you at Tim Hortons or Raising Cane's. You're just going to have a little tray to carry your drinks around in.
Why are you guys like a water too? Like, why are you guys doing this? You're like, well, the coffee cups are too small. And so I have to have 2. And then
your hands are full if you don't have this. So
we go work for, we go to work and they're like, why did you guys go through all the coffee cups already? You're like, you don't understand. You could just go refill it. No, you can't.
No. We're busy working. We can't leave our desks to go fill up a coffee cup again.
We also have a long distance between the upstairs and the break room downstairs.
That's right.
And there's
you have to go through.
There's no elevator.
It doesn't even matter how long of a distance is that there's a flight of stairs in between.
And have you ever looked at the floor between the break room and the studio and the break room and the stairs? Have you ever seen the floor before?
How there's always
splatters of coffee.
Yep, you can tell. There's always little droplets. Yes. The floor is clean except for that. Yeah, so we're really good.
Even with
the
lids,
coffee drops.
I don't know why, but whenever people walk back and forth, it just sloshes over. Yeah. And there's always coffee on the floor and all dry. It's like how you can find your way back to the break room.
That's right. It's a little trail.
Oh, my gosh. So I don't know if these little baby coffee cups are going to be...
They might not work out long term.
We can use these, but I don't know if everybody's going to be happy with them.
We're not going to re-buy them, maybe.
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
The Real ID is back in the news in the last couple of days.
Yeah, this pops up every so often.
Every time they don't meet the deadline, then it pops back up.
They're really, they've really got the RIOT's mentality with this. Just put it off.
Push it off. Yeah.
Procrastinate. How long can we go without enforcing this?
So basically, the Real ID one is I don't know if there's another version, but I just know it as the new driver's license.
Right.
That feels like it's been around for years and years and years.
I believe this program that they were working on, I think this goes back to like September 11th was the initial idea of when they went to it. They decided that they needed to do this. Of course, it didn't get passed until long after that. But that was when the idea... That was what they were trying to combat with this.
So it's really revolving around air travel because at this certain point, you were supposed to have this Real ID driver's license, which has a star symbol at the top of the card, has a different look to it. It was supposed to be required if you were 18 or older if you wanted to board a plane.
Right.
So if you wanted to do air travel, enter a federal building or a military base, passports, military IDs, or global entry cards. For that, you needed to have this license.
In a way, it was actually when I got my Real ID. It was the last time I updated my driver's license. And it was like, actually, this will be kind of convenient because you don't need to carry your passport with you if you do go to you don't. It can take the place of your passport in certain situations.
When you're checking in here.
Right.
I mean, when you get to the place, you still need.
Right. But certain instances, it cancels that out, the need for the passport out. So it's kind of convenient.
It is. And it was fine to get. You just need to bring lots of extra things.
You just needed your passport to get it.
I know. Yes, you did. So if you go to any of the driver's license places, if you ever go there and someone's having an argument, it's always revolving around they didn't bring the right paper to get the Real ID.
Yep, that's definitely
I've seen so many of them. There's crying. It's like all the stages of grief that they go through because they have to go back.
I guess everybody, when they're trying to update that, anyways, now you have so long to do it, it doesn't matter. Maybe no,
because we already had this pushback. It's like it's being pushed again. So the deadline was supposed to be October 1st for 2020 this year.
Right.
So last year. It was supposed to be in October, but now they're saying the new deadline will be May 3rd, 23.
Just long enough away for everyone to forget about it again.
And they're basically still saying with COVID that it's hard for people to go in and get their driver's license updated. It's actually not as hard.
I hope COVID doesn't stick around for another 3 years.
I know, right? But they can't say
or 2
next
years,
year.
I guess it is.
At this point, they have to give it one more past that. So you have until May 3rd of 23 to get your Real ID, so you don't have to worry about it until then if you want to do air travel.
Right.
If you don't, you can get the other one anytime you want. You don't have to have this one.
A lot of places, you don't even have to go in to get your regular driver's license renewed now. But if you want the Real ID, that's an in-person appointment.
It is. And remember all the paperwork.
Yes, the paperwork. You need to prove that this ID needs to be real, okay? We need to make sure you are real.
And you don't want to be one of those people who forgot one thing and then is having a mental breakdown at the thing and having a fit.
And the people at the DMV are not going to be helpful with you at all.
Anyways.
Some of them are very patient, but a lot of them are very cold and uncaring. Because I've seen this thing happen so many times before.
Well, you check with your state. We're all in different states, and we all have different things.
Right.
But you do need to eventually have a Real ID. But it's been pushed back, so congratulations. You've waited it out a little longer.
Yeah, but again, if it can be convenient, so might as well just get it. And then May 3rd, 2023 comes around, and you're feeling good because you already got it done.
I was so excited. I went, because when my birthday happened, I needed to change and update my license.
Yeah.
And when I went to our place, it was newly opened by a few months. So no one knew it was there. And I waited 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was the best thing. I was telling everybody about it. It's like, if
and
you
now
have to
there's a really long line.
I know, sorry.
You spread the word.
I did, but it was amazing.
I feel that every area, because I know where I grew up in Maryland, there's the one DMV everybody goes to, even if it's like 2 counties over. But it's like, this is the one where you can always just get right in.
And you also have to go sometimes to the one where the people are just nicer in case there isn't a problem.
Yes, where they actually are helpful.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Jay Crumb is also joining us on Friday. He's a RadioU fusion artist. He's got a new music video for Monochrome Melancholy, which is the hardest thing to spell out.
It really is. And
really hard.
Do you remember that movie Megamind? The kids movie? It had like Will Ferrell and it was blue. Like it was a cartoon.
Megamind?
Megamind.
I do not remember that.
And Megamind is like a super villain.
Yeah.
But then he eventually turns good. And
well, spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
Why bother watching it now?
It came out like 10 years ago.
It doesn't matter.
Actually, that's kind of not that much of a spoiler. But in the movie, for some reason, he like the Megamind, Will Ferrell's character, mispronounces things a lot. And he says melancholy instead of melancholy.
Aww,
and so whenever I see that song, it's monochrome melancholy to me. It's weird, those things that stick in your mind, isn't it? I haven't seen that movie many times, and it's an old movie.
What if I say it to him on Friday? That would be the worst.
What if he's like, yes, I always thought that too.
Oh, he knew it too, yeah.
It's all I could do to keep it from getting into the song.
Well, we just have to write it out because, we're getting ready for Friday and with just, adding the song and being on Fusion and stuff. And I'm just like, monochrome melancholy. It's so hard.
You're never confident that you spelled it right.
Oh, no. And you always have to double check. So if you check out RadioU TV, you can watch his music video there along with our other RadioU artists. But we'll look forward to talking to him on Friday.
Yeah.
And that's when OB returns.
Yes, that's a big day. It's going to be a big day, and I can sleep in again.
You can, so it's a good morning for you. Good morning, Jeff, and then also Jacob. He's in Minnesota. Good morning.
Good
Thanks
morning,
for texting.
Fellas, what brings you here?
They just text to say hi. Okay. What brings you here this morning?
Yeah.
You're so weird.
I don't know. I thought for some reason, I thought there was going to be more.
Now, okay, wait.
To what they said.
Normally, Hudson's on in the afternoon. Do you not just get good morning or you'd be good afternoon text for you?
No, because it's the middle of the day, so not
Everybody
usually.
doesn't say that?
No, they don't.
It's cute because I think with a lot of our listeners, you guys are just waking up.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the first thing you're doing, you're like, good morning, Riot. Yeah, and you're like, good morning, guys.
Yeah, nobody does that to me. Although I do often get a little just like, I hope you had a good weekend.
Oh, that's
usually
nice.
what people say. So that's very nice.
You guys are always just so like first thing ready to go. And we appreciate that.
Yeah, that is nice to be one of the first ones you text. I wonder if they're just... if you're only texting the Riot or for the first ones you text, or if there's a whole list that you got to say good morning to Jen and to Bob, and then the Riot is
Mom
on the
list.
Yeah, right.
Well, if you could add to the list, Hudson's here for the today and tomorrow, but when he goes back to the afternoons, maybe you can add to the list hope you had a good day, Hudson. Good evening, a good afternoon when you're leaving all your stuff, and then you can text him then.
That would be nice. A nice little just to know you're thinking of me.
Yeah, just a quick little text makes all the difference in someone's lives.
It totally does.
Giving every novelty food the publicity it so blatantly desires. It's The Riot on RadioU.
I don't know if you're into dog racing,
no,
Hudson.
I continue to be surprised that where there's still areas where it's allowed.
Well, this article, a judgment just came out. So even though this actually happened back in November, it's causing a lot of controversy in New Zealand for greyhound racing because of their findings, which came out a few days ago.
Okay.
So greyhound racing's a thing in New Zealand, and this has caused the entire industry to be re-looked at to see what has happened, and is this happening in all races, and they just didn't know this.
Right.
But there was a 3-year-old female Italian greyhound named Zipping Sarah.
Okay.
And Zipping Sarah won is it a race?
I think,
yes, a race.
Yeah, right. It's a race.
She finished the Len, Jane, and Penny Hart Memorial Feature at the Canterbury Greyhound Racing Club meeting.
This all sounds so New
not
Zealand.
Our thing. I know. It gets more at the Addington Raceway in Christchurch, and it was on November 12th. So basically, she won the race, super fast, all that stuff. Yay, they're excited.
Yeah, of course.
But after the doggy race, they test a pee sample just to make sure post-race. I'm not sure if that's always done or what.
Yeah, and probably maybe random testing.
Who knows?
Yeah.
They found that the 3-year-old Italian Greyhound had meth in her system.
Uh-oh. She's been doping.
And that's probably why she was so fast.
Yeah.
And then that made them because she had so many wins and so many records. And now they're just looking at the entire Greyhound racing
season. Now they're going to have to go back and rewrite the record books and strip away those titles from Zipping Sarah and give them to somebody slower, but somebody that was playing by the rules.
They're wondering if meth and all these other things run throughout. Is that just a normal thing for Greyhound racing?
It really has to be. And I don't know if there's anywhere here in the U.S. where it is still legal because this kind of stuff was so
officially dog racing. You mean, is that still done here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where dog racing is still legal. I think there's a few states that still allow it, but it's generally kind of frowned upon. And it is because, in part, I think, because this kind of maybe not necessarily always the doping kind of stuff, but the dogs being mistreated is pretty common.
Sorry if you like it, but it's the same with horse racing.
Yeah,
it
right.
Literally is the same. It's not pretty, and it's especially not pretty. And younger Nikki used to have a real problem with when they can't race anymore. What happens?
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. What, being put out to stud?
No, no, it's when they're sold for their meat. It's awful. It's terrible. And I never liked that.
Yeah.
For this racing, they said that following the discovery, the trainer was disqualified for 4 months, fined $3,500. That doesn't seem a lot.
Wait. So he's not even banned for life or anything.
Well, not the dog. This is the trainer.
Oh, the trainer.
Trainer.
Well, where did the dog get the methamphetamines?
Okay, I'll get to that in a second.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Stripped of the winning stake, which was over $4,000. So they lost with that.
Oh, that's not even that much.
So then their judgment release, they were talking and trying to figure out, there's no explanation still for this positive result. They can't tell. No one's being honest. They're not saying this is
just like when Olympic athletes do.
It really is.
It's I don't know where I got it. I thought it was a approved substance. I don't know. My doctor said it was fine.
They're trying to make it seem like someone along the road from taking the dog to the track injected them with something that they didn't know anything about.
Right, of course.
They say the Greyhound was transported together with another one. They go into all this detail via the road and the ferry to Christchurch. During the day of the race, they stopped at a friend's place where the dog exercised for a bit.
Yeah.
And so they're just not sure what happened or when it happened. But they have she had meth in her.
Like a scandal that runs really deep, there could be some person that was just random that couldn't be connected to it.
Well, I feel
that doesn't mean didn't have a vested interest in it and didn't have the approval of the trainer in some wink, wink, nudge, nudge way.
This feels
either way. It feels negligent at best by the trainer.
It actually feels like a Disney Plus movie as they try to save the dog.
Oh yeah, that dog. I wonder what happens to her. Sounds like she's still doing. She might not be racing, but
the dogs that for this trainer has won over $167,000, and their training record had been spotless before. But they say that a lot of dogs are killed and injured and doped in this whole circuit thing. So that's what they do.
Very sad. Very sad. Is it really worth it in the end? Is that
you're coming in like the coach?
Yep.
You're the good guy in the movie that comes in.
These dogs give us everything, and this is how we treat them. Is this right?
I know. Someone along somewhere in some part of that trip gave the dog meth. And I never thought I'd say that, but that's what happened.
Oh, poor dog.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
What's your review of Citizen Kane? Thumbs up or down?
Is that is it Rosebud? Rosebud with a sled or something?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, I think I've seen it.
Oh, you have seen it?
I think I have.
Yeah.
But I don't recall it. I can't tell if I've seen it or if I've seen enough stuff about it.
Yeah.
That I feel like I saw it, but I never saw the whole movie.
Well, over here, I'm Mr. Oscars, and I actually haven't ever seen it.
You never?
I haven't seen it. I am also familiar with, the old tropes of it, but
sure,
I've never seen it actually from beginning to end. But it just lost its 100% Rotten Tomatoes rating. And just to be clear, if you haven't seen it either and you're less familiar with it than we are, it came out in 1940, I believe, 1941.
So it's Orson Welles.
Yep, Orson Welles.
He's done other stuff.
Largely regarded as, if not the greatest movie of all time, it's definitely up there.
Sure.
Just like if you just take a consensus of all the critics and just movie historians and everything. One of the best movies of all time. And until very recently, it had a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And there's not very many movies that can say that.
On the tomato meter?
Yep, on the tomato meter.
So they're saying that sometime, though, between February 25th and April 15th of this year, someone ruined it. And by ruined it, it's pretty much Rotten Tomatoes. They added a negative review from a review that a newspaper did 80 years ago. This isn't even a new thing.
It's not a new review of somebody that finally decided.
Like, I'm seeing it now.
You could understand if it was somebody through the modern lens. There's a reason why this is problematic. You know what I mean? But it's not that. This is a review that was published in the Chicago Tribune 80 years ago when the movie came out. And still, though, don't you think... Like, this didn't just happen by accident. Somebody that doesn't like Citizen Kane submitted this to Rotten Tomatoes and like, hey, have you guys ever seen this? They found the one negative review.
Well, they say the site added a negative review. So does that mean that someone and then the site approved it or something?
I feel that, I don't know exactly how the Rotten Tomatoes process works.
Yeah.
But I don't think Rotten Tomatoes is just searching around for reviews of Citizen Kane still. So I think somebody must have dug that up in some way, whether they were just looking through old history books or, like to find this old newspaper article.
Just seems like someone wanted to ruin it.
Yeah, or if they really had it out for Citizen Kane, they've been looking for the review to bring it down this whole time, and they finally found it.
It's someone inside Rotten Tomatoes who likes internships or works there and hates Citizen Kane and always wanted to and finally let the negative review come through.
Maybe they just hate movies in general.
I know, they seem hateful and spiteful.
But what it also could be, because now there's a very select list of movies that still are 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's not exact. Some of them are movies you would expect. Well, one of them is Paddington 2.
What? No, they say that some have 100% because just no one cared enough to go put a negative review. Yeah. It doesn't mean that it's a good movie.
I think that Paddington 2, like, that came out recently enough, and a lot of people saw it. But the critics review everything now. If you it's not hard to find a negative review, but somehow
they don't put that on
still
there.
Like Paddington 2.
So the other films, they say The Terminator from 84, that has a 100% score. 95's Godzilla versus Destroya. That they say, this is how they phrase it. It's a movie that no credible authority has ever posted a negative opinion on.
There you go.
So that's what they say.
But there are some real, like Toy Story 2, Toy Story, The Terminator. We said The Terminator. Mary Poppins, Singing in the Rain, the old Pinocchio from 1940. I thought that one is so highly regarded. And
the animated one?
Yeah.
I guess, has there only been animated ones?
There was actually, it was a joke because there was apparently some Pinocchio movie that was not associated with Disney or anything came out this year, and it got nominated for a couple like hairstyling Oscars or something.
On the Pinocchio thing, or in the crew?
And the joke around the internet was it wasn't actually a real movie. It was a whole Nathan for You, if you know the show. It was a fake movie designed just to get an Oscar.
Well, if you're a fan of Citizen Kane, then you should be mad because someone ruined the 100% Rotten Tomatoes. It can
never have that again, and that is very sad.
It's a shame.
There's no fresh by date because it was spoiled when they made it. Worst of the Riot, RadioU.
Sometimes I feel like when we hear collabs when it comes to food, like, are we too negative? Are we not, like, excited? But I actually am pretty excited about this one.
Does this sound good to you?
It does. They say that when it comes to goldfish crackers, the little goldfish crackers.
Yeah, for children.
No, for cheese lovers and young at heart. But yes, I think normally. But they must have like not just a kid demographic because they say the request that they get the most for Goldfish crackers is to make a spicier version.
Okay.
And so now Goldfish is collabing with Frank's Red Hot to do a spicy Red Hot Goldfish limited edition.
Yeah,
and that sounds good.
Doesn't sound so bad. A nice little spicy goldfish. I always find that as an adult,
what we are?
The regular goldfish don't do it as much for me, but you get some of those flavored ones that are like covered in the very, very fine dust with the like cheese flavoring or like the pizza kind.
I thought they did like a birthday cake flavor too that I remember.
Oh yeah, they did some that were like sweet.
And those were good.
They weren't crackers at all. They were just cookies, but they were pretty good.
Well, it's still a goldfish.
It's still a goldfish.
Actually, that sounds like that could be the tagline. It's still a goldfish.
Yeah, we should have wrote that for him. But yeah, Frank's Red Hot. I'm more of a Tabasco man myself. So I wish that was the collab they were working on. But
just get out if that's it.
Really? What? How can you not? You don't like Tabasco?
I do not. Anything with that or like the liquid smoke stuff or like too much. It's just too much.
No, I'm definitely because I don't like as much the straight up like buffalo kind of sauce.
Sure.
Like I never would order straight buffalo wings. I would get different flavors of them. But the Tabasco sauce is different. It's not so Frank's.
I can't hear you.
Frank's Red Hot is much more straight up buffalo sauce to me.
No, see, for me, I like to make wings at home, and you take Frank's Red Hot and butter, and you put the two together. You just get it all warmed up and put the wings in it. That's all you got to do.
It's popular. I'm not saying it's not popular, and I'm sure it's just not as much my preference.
Your taste, sure.
Yes, but
well, I guess you're allowed to have your own opinion about Tabasco.
But these still could be good though. I'd be happy to try them.
They will be available starting in just a few days, so you should see them in shelves pretty much now. And they'll be while supplies last, and it's a limited edition for the Goldfish crackers and Frank's Red Hot sauce.
While supplies last, that means buy up a bunch of them.
Yeah, if you see them, let me know, because that's one I'd actually want to try.
Yeah, and it says only $2.49. That feels like a good deal.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it is Goldfish after all, so I guess how much were you expecting?
Worst of the Riot podcast.
I'll go through a few text messages. Some of this will be just a bit random if you don't listen to the whole show like you're supposed to every morning.
You can listen to this and then go back into the podcast later and see what you missed to get some context.
Jeff says Tabasco blows Frank's out of the water.
Yes.
So someone agrees with
Jeff,
you.
That was Jeff?
That's Jeff.
Jeff is the man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows what's up.
Andy was just texting that Walmart has Chick-fil-A sauce. I don't know, but he says good morning.
I've seen that pop up a few times.
Yeah,
and it's like
places.
ridiculously expensive for some reason. I don't know, and I've never seen it at a Walmart of mine. So
Hudson, it's about quality.
Yeah, it is.
And Walmart is really known for their generic. They have a generic, like, great value sort of thing of Chick-fil-A sauce.
I did not know that. I know that Kroger has one. And Sweet Baby Ray's has one. They each are like, this is chicken sandwich sauce, and you can tell it's supposed to be like
it's that, yeah.
And it's not. It's not even close. Not the same.
Let's see. Jason texted in. We were talking about how Frank's is doing a collab with Goldfish crackers, and he said it's all good till a 2-year-old starts accidentally eating the Frank's Red Hot Goldfish.
You got to keep those ones up on the shelf somewhere.
I wonder how spicy they'll actually end up being.
Yeah,
but that's all right.
Well, if they're saying people always asking for spicy ones, then maybe they turned up the heat.
And Phil is in Houston. He said Tabasco all the way. He agrees with you, Hudson.
Yes. See, the Tabasco love is out there. And I'm sure there's different flavors of Frank's Red Hot, but there's different varieties of Tabasco. I prefer the smoky chipotle variety. Mm-hmm. That's a lot better than the regular Tabasco. So maybe you just haven't found your variety yet.
I need to find the one that I like.
Give them a few chances. If you go to Chipotle, they have like a whole Tabasco bar.
Oh, they do?
They always have so many bottles of it, it seems.
I think that's been closed.
Yeah, you're right.
COVID took away
a casualty of the
all
pandemic.
Bars, including the Tabasco ones. Let's see. We were talking a little bit ago, too, about Citizen Kane on Rotten Tomatoes. They pulled in a 80-year-old review that moved it from its 100% positive score down to like 80. And then we were talking about other movies that still have 100% like fresh on the tomato meter thing. Yeah. And one of them is Paddington Bear 2.
Yeah.
so Tom said, Nikki, you close your mouth about Paddington Bear 2.
Oh, man. Tom must be from the UK.
I don't think I said anything bad about Paddington Bear. I was just surprised that it had 100% review. I just don't think anybody put the effort forward to make a negative review.
I know you say that, but this is 2020. And that came out
2021, it's 2021, Hudson.
This is 2021.
Oh my gosh!
And
is that because all the Tabasco?
Everything gets reviewed. Everything.
No, not if you don't
Paddington
care
2
about it.
made a lot of money. You look up at the box office numbers. I bet you Paddington 2 made a lot of money.
Not.
Yes, it did. It was popular.
It was
People with kids went crazy for Paddington 2.
Paddington Bear 2.
Under $100 million. Has to be over.
No, I think it's under.
Over. Come on.
Okay, wait, it is over. But are we talking internationally? Because I know
we really
it did better.
Split hairs on that?
Yeah, we are.
It didn't do so good as much in the U.S.
No, everywhere else, total $228 million.
And the UK was probably half of that. But but still, that's a popular movie. You make that much money, and you're 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Listen, you can't complain. Hudson, you cannot bring that down.
Let's just put the text messages away if it's going to divide us. Okay, we just don't want to be divided. We still have the show today and tomorrow. We still have show left.
Yeah, we don't need to argue.
The Riot with Obadiah and Nikki on RadioU.
If you don't know, like at least here at RadioU, but I assume a lot of radio stations. I think we all flirt with the low carb keto lifestyle.
Yeah, the keto one is the one that always tempts me because it's so you can eat a lot of the things you still like, and you almost have an excuse to not eat a lot of vegetables and stuff. So it's just like, I don't need to eat that.
You mean it's a lot of good fats,
right? Yes, that's what you tell yourself anyway.
But it's very hard here at RadioU because, like this morning, I wanted to be low carb until I saw the cinnamon rolls that were still in there.
There's Danishes. There's a whole
Little Debbie's
tray of Little Debbie's. Yeah, so it's all there.
These turkey pinwheel things in the fridge. It's just, there's a lot of temptation every day.
Yeah.
But so then it goes out the window.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult. But
you were telling me you got some pizza bowls last night?
Yeah, so
it sounds good.
I have been trying to be more low carb, just, carb conscious, you could say.
Please say that more often. Please, because I just don't expect you to say that. Carb aware.
Carb. I like the alliteration of carb conscious.
That's the perfect one.
And I don't know, there's also some really just the mindset that comes with being carb conscious.
Sure.
There's a lot there. So trying to cut back. That means you can't have pizza because pizza is loaded with crust, which is carbs.
That's the good part.
But at Marco's Pizza, which is a national chain, it's really not thought of with Pizza Hut, Domino's, and Papa John's. But first of all, it's a lot better than any of those. And second of all, they now have...
That's called Hudson's opinion.
Marco, it's actually pretty good.
I've never had it before.
Really?
No, I've never had it.
Wasn't the pizza buffet that used to be well known around here, wasn't that Marco's? Did you ever go to that?
Is that the one down there that's still there?
Is it still there? I don't know. I've been there. I've been to the buffet once, and I thought it was Marco's. And
I know, it's a place where you smell.
Yes,
when you come back,
that's true.
It's like you get a real, and it's not like the best pizza smell. It's just something weird.
I don't know. I think if you've been to that one, that was a Marco's.
Oh no! See, Chad just texted. He said CC's. No, one went out a long time ago.
Yeah, we also, because we used to love pizza buffets here.
Oh yeah, we do.
And the Pizza Hut one is so far away, and I don't know if that's still open or still a buffet. I mean, with COVID, it probably isn't. And then I think the other one that was closer was a Marco's. And I remember going there a couple times.
No, that's not a Marco's.
What
It
is
must
that
be
one?
something else.
Huh.
Here, I'll just Google pizza buffets in the area.
But I don't think they might not be open anymore. You know who would
buffets
know,
are back.
though? Marco would know. Michael would know. Michael would know if the situation.
Massey's.
That's Massey's is the buffet? Oh,
that's the one where no offense, Massey's. It's just something about the room.
Yeah.
But you had a pizza bowl last night.
Yes, back to the matter at hand is that Marco's is pretty good, and they sent me a little flyer in the mail. Not just me. They sent it to everybody. They sent a flyer that says they have pizza bowls.
Conscious.
Yeah, right. So they had me in mind. And they said it's a pizza bowl, which is literally everything you get with your pizza, except it's not with a crust. So so
it's cheese and toppings.
It's not cauliflower or anything. It's not a bread bowl. It's just a black tray with, they put the sauce in. They do have the sauce. So there's a few carbs there. And then you load it up with cheese, and then you get up to 4 toppings included, and that's no extra charge.
And you were happy with it?
And I ate it, and I thought $8, like, this is going to be enough for one meal. And it's like you were saying, it's probably not going to be that big, right?
Yeah.
But it was probably equivalent to at least a small pizza, like not even a personal pizza, but a small pizza, if not a medium pizza. So it was a pretty decent amount. And since it's so much cheese and so
your poor
like just
body.
so much. Yeah.
Your body's like, wait a minute.
And then the 4 toppings also, I ate about half of it and I thought this is enough. But it's also one of those things where you think, yeah, you're being carb conscious, but look at all the grease on this thing. This is how you know that keto, you're just being lied to because this is not good for you.
It all depends. Everybody's body's different, Hudson.
Yeah.
You always have to say that. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody has a thing. But it's more like, the following day when you have the leftovers. Like one morning I made one of those keto egg sandwiches where basically it's not bread, but it's just 2 egg things with some stuff.
Yeah.
And I made a bagel here at RadioU and I put it between the bagel. I think we're all doing it wrong.
Yeah, right.
These are tough times.
It doesn't really work if you're only carb conscious some of the time.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
I was just about to start playing the hockey music over here, but then I realized I don't think Obadiah has hockey music.
You have it.
Like
he
I
doesn't.
do. Yeah, of course.
I think he just has the Canadian anthem, but that'd be about it.
Yeah, that doesn't fit as well, but it's hockey time. Nikki, are you ready for hockey?
Ready.
Yes. Now you're going to have multiple easy access options to watch hockey starting next year.
Oh, goody.
Yeah.
Yay!
It's going to be on a service that you may even already subscribe to.
Well, I had it for Mortal Kombat and Godzilla versus King Kong, but I don't know if I'll be keeping HBO Max.
Come on.
Why
HBO
do I
Max? Because they've got the movies. They've got all
I don't watch
the
a lot of movies, but they
You
are.
just watched Godzilla vs. Kong and Mortal Kombat.
That was it.
That was it. Those are the only movies you're interested in? Come on.
Now, they were saying...
Are you going to keep paying for Netflix over HBO Max?
Well,
don't tell me.
That's a hierarchy thing. I've had that forever. It's too much effort.
And it keeps letting you down with all of this stuff you don't care about.
It does. Now, people
and
are kind of...
hockey.
They're kind of surprised at this one because the Warner Media with HBO Max had said that they're not really going to be doing sports, that they wouldn't have sports appear on HBO Max this year. But now there's some new news coming out about hockey.
Yes, the NHL has agreed to a deal where they are going to stream about half of their stuff on HBO Max, and that would also include TNT and TBS if you're watching on Sling or whatever other like regular TV stuff. But HBO Max is also getting the NHL as part of the deal, which is pretty cool because if you were subscribed to HBO Max, you probably weren't suspecting this. So if you're like me, this is a big bonus because I already love HBO Max.
And
I love the NHL. So this is just an added bonus. And it also is kind of surprising because the NHL is kind of big news a few weeks back. The other half of their stuff is going on ESPN, which was a big deal because the NHL used to be on ESPN years ago, and it was very popular, more popular at that time. So now the NHL, you know what? As a hockey fan in the U.S., it's just kind of nice to see it getting some attention paid to it, or people actually want to at least these companies actually want to pay to show it. Yeah.
It doesn't mean everybody's going to want to watch it, but you can.
But live sports is feels like a big thing right now because that's actually how you can get eyeballs on, force people kind of to have to pay for your thing to watch it live. And so it's nice to have the NHL on there. And
I think for streaming services, it kind of leads towards we still would desperately like a streaming service that gave us everything.
Yeah.
And you would like movies, you would like shows, and you would like sports.
Right.
Is it too much to ask?
And putting it all in one thing.
Without going back to cable, is it too much?
Yep. But now you would have to have the thing is that the difficulty is since it really is split pretty evenly half and half for a given season. The NHL, if you want to watch all of your games of your specific team, you either have to have both the Disney Plus bundle or just pay for ESPN Plus, or you have to have, or also have HBO Max or, subscribe to TBS and TNT somehow. So it makes it harder on NHL fans in a way, but also you're chances are you probably have one of these already. So boom, a bunch of hockey for you.
They say half the conference finals, half the first 2 rounds of playoffs each season, 72 regular season games per season. The NHL Winter Classic each season will go to HBO Max.
Okay.
So Warner Media will get that. So TNT and TBS. The Stanley Cup, they'll get 3 out of the 7 years outlined like in this deal that they're doing.
Right.
The other Stanley Cup years will go to ESPN Plus and ABC.
Yeah.
You almost missed hearing this one. We just couldn't let that happen. The worst of the riot. RadioU.
Get ready for another grumpy Hudson and Nikki because
this is one of those quintessential things. It's like, this is amazing. Look at our American or just human ingenuity, the ideas we can come up with and these problems we can solve. And then you see the price tag of it and you think, no,
this is a problem
I'll still deal with, actually.
So this actually goes back to like 2012. MIT demonstrated with researchers how to get ketchup out of a bottle using this technology called Liquid Glide.
Right, because if you look at your ketchup bottle, even if you store it upside down, there's still always ketchup stuck to the sides. It's going to waste.
So this seems like it's in the bottle, and it has this technology to keep the item from actually sticking to the sides of the bottle. And you're like, well, I wonder what they can use this for. So the research group with MIT developed a way to manufacture and commercialize it. They had like over $13 million in funding.
Yeah, good for them.
So this Liquid Glide stuff is now working in partnership with Colgate with toothpaste.
Yes. They're going to start selling it where this is toothpaste that won't get bunched up in the tube. You don't have to roll up the end or fold it in half or whatever tricks you may use to squeeze the toothpaste from the end. Because if you keep it upside down or once you hold it upside down, the toothpaste just naturally falls down.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't changed the recipe of the toothpaste at all. And so saying that, the toothpaste is still the same, basically, but because you're paying for the Liquid Glide bottle, this is going to be, and I guess it's only for sale in the UK right now, £17 or $17 American dollars is how much it would cost. And even if it's on sale, it's still $8.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
It's Colgate.
Not worth it.
It's called Elixir. And they also are promoting the fact that the packaging is recyclable with it.
Okay.
So they say that, it's, functional. It's beautiful. It's good for the earth. It's good for you. But that's a lot of money. So they're just putting it out in the UK first. And then we'll see if it happens to make its way to the United States.
I don't think that I can't imagine how many people looking on the shelf, maybe just all toothpaste is more expensive in the UK, but I can't imagine people are really you're going to see all the toothpaste on the shelf and you're going to pick this one out, even though it's like 3 times the cost of what you probably normal people get.
Listen, if you were here and you were really into like getting every last drop of toothpaste out, which I'm not really, like that's not where we're making our millions here.
Right. But
that's not where we're saving money.
By the time you're to the end of the toothpaste tube anyways, the top of like the spout of the toothpaste is so gross anyways.
So coated.
You don't want to keep using it.
I know, but you could use only a few sessions of this toothpaste, throw out your normal toothpaste, get a new one several times over, and still be under the price tag.
A new toothpaste every day.
And then still be under.
Get one of the little travel size ones, and you'd still be making money compared to this.
It's neat, though. Like, it shows the clearness, and you can just see the toothpaste come down. It does not stick to the side, but...
Yeah. It is. And when you see, of course, like, they've got the little infomercial type animation where they show somebody squeezing toothpaste out of a tube, a regular tube versus their elixir tube. And it really is, like, there's a huge difference, at least in their little animation. But still, is it really worth it? And are you really, like, fumbling around with your regular toothpaste that much that you're willing to pay $17?
What else does Colgate have? Like, how else can you innovate the toothpaste world?
Yeah.
Like, this is actually something that they could have done, but I just don't think they realize how little people care about it.
Yeah.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So here's some good news. The Monsterverse is continuing.
Ooh.
It was, we all saw Godzilla versus Kong. It felt very final. It felt very final.
It did, but there's always been talks that it would continue.
Yeah,
and
right.
Godzilla versus Kong, like in all the Monsterverse movies that they've kind of already had with like the Kong Skull Island and stuff, it is the second best grossing monster Godzilla thing.
Right.
Out of all the Godzilla movies along with it, behind Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, so it was very successful, and so they may be coming into the release of the movie, we're like, this could be the end, but now that they've made so much money,
I didn't even
we
know
want to keep
this,
it going.
But in this article, they said, like, it's not out in the UK, Brazil, Japan, and other larger markets.
Oh, wow.
They haven't released it there yet. So
still a lot of money to be made, potentially.
And it's made over $400 million globally.
Which is crazy.
Already.
That actually really is an eye-popping number. So, yeah, it's made a lot of money. It's been very successful. And as such, now there's talks of the next movie in the Monsterverse, which will be, this isn't definite confirmed, but it sounds like it's going to be called Son of Kong, or have something to do with that. And the director will be the same director, Adam Wingard.
I thought we were going to branch out from Kong.
Yeah. It's called a Monsterverse, and I know there's all kinds of other monsters that play a role, but it's really just Godzilla and Kong.
If we just want to go with that, we can.
Yeah.
And I'm not as familiar with all the Monsterverse stuff. Like, I know with Godzilla versus Kong, like, they had so many monsters in there, and it's not like they're as well known. They are if you're a Godzilla fan, like Mothra and stuff. But if you're not a Godzilla fan, I don't know if you can make a standalone movie.
Is Mothra enough to carry a franchise on her own?
I don't know. They need to branch out.
The B characters in the Avengers, maybe they're okay for a Netflix show or something.
Well,
but are we really going to make them to a whole movie?
They're very happy. They got the same guy. So Monsterverse with the Godzilla stuff or the Kong stuff, that is going to still continue. They're just not giving too many details yet.
Yeah. The other thing about these movies, and I guess like you just kind of know what you're getting into, and I don't know how they keep making it bigger and better because like we've seen kind of the whole world that there is now. It feels with these monster movies. And so how many more times can we be like, but wait, there's a new monster and now it's going to cause havoc.
Listen, Hudson, you don't know what might come out of the ocean.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
So are we saying off air that you and I enjoy travel shows?
Yeah, I think we do. I watch a lot of travel, but especially the fun ones that are funny, because what we're talking about is it's Travel Man. I'm sure some people out there know. It's with Richard Iowati from the IT Crowd, and he's traveling and doing all this different stuff, but he seems like he's not actually enjoying any of it, but not in like an angry way, just like he's not really having a good time, and he would not do this if it wasn't for a TV show. That's kind of the vibe you get.
I want that vibe. I've never heard of the show.
Yeah, no,
I've seen him before in other stuff.
Travel Man is very, very good, and again, it's very British. Like a lot of the U.S. shows, when they travel, it's always like they're so enjoying it. And it's just such an experience of culture. And with this guy, he's going around Europe, and it's always him and a guest. There's the one. This is what I was talking about with the Burger King sauna thing. It's him and Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
And they eat in a sauna in a Burger King. And it's like it's it's like, why are we doing this? Like, I feel
Why
the
not?
attitude we might have. Like, this is actually a dumb thing.
But it turns out being
this
fun.
is what we would do if we went to
Can I
to
tell you how
Helsinki.
much I love British shows? Because we joke about this, and you might just not have picked up on it, but when you watch like a British show, there's never a lot of episodes.
That's right.
This has 43 episodes.
Yep.
But they always have Christmas specials in British shows. And so I'm looking through the episodes guide on Wiki, and they're like, here's the 2016 Christmas special. Here's the 2017, 2018. They had Christmas specials.
Oh, you're going to love it. And the big benefit, I love that it is only 30 minutes long.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I hate like an hour-long show. That's a movie. I don't have time for that. Give me a 30-minute show. I'll be in and out.
Well, I'm putting it on my list I found on Amazon.
I cannot recommend Travel Man and the IT Crowd, which is
But
how
that's
I
really
found out
old,
about
isn't it?
That is pretty old.
Okay.
That is like the British crossover. Like, I would compare that to kind of Seinfeld-like and kind of The Office-like, but also British and older.
Well, I always see clips of, and I didn't realize it was that show, but on Facebook, you know how they're like, here's this, you know, like, why are we getting this pushed at me? But I get that pushed a lot where it's clips from that.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. I've seen a lot of clips and a lot of memes and whatever of it. And
like, that was a show. I didn't know.
And you're saying, well, yeah, and this is an old show. And so do I really want to get into it? I only recently watched it. And so, like, I didn't know what all these clips were. And then once I started watching the show
and the
from
humor
like 20 years ago,
well?
it really
holds.
does. It is good stuff.
All right. Well, I'm taking Hudson's recommendation. I'm going to put that for the Travel Man series.
Add it to your list. I think everybody is really going to enjoy it.
And then I was telling him, because it's all Amazon too, but like James May and the old Top Gear guys, the ones who don't do, but they do their Amazon version of it.
Yeah.
I like their separate travel shows.
Yeah, I bet you I would like those as well.
I think you'd really enjoy it.
The British sense of humor really works well with that.
Well, they're all really older and they're really grumpy. So especially if it's James May, like he doesn't like to really travel. So when he does a travel show, it's really funny.
So that actually sounds a lot like Travel Man. So I feel like there's just a real British theme.
Yep.
And they all remind me of the original British travel show that I watched, which was An Idiot Abroad, which is hilarious. And he hates traveling more than anybody. So British travel shows is a new segment that we're really into. Yeah.
If you have any travel shows, nothing too long, but if you have any travel shows
30 minutes or less
that you want to recommend to us, text us anytime because we're just making a list.
Yeah,
and we're going to watch all these old ones.
And you can add all these to your list, and we'll just have a little group here.
We'll meet later and we'll talk about
a discussion. It's like a book club, but less sophisticated.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no, I missed it. Do it again.
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.